Thank you for joining us tonight at 10. I'm Sarah Horbacewicz. We're beginning in Little Rock, where police are investigating a deadly hit and run at Geyer Springs and Young Road. Police told us on Friday they found a man lying in the road. He later died at the hospital. Police have not yet released the victim's identity as they work to tell the victim's family. No charges have yet been filed, and the investigation is still ongoing. And tonight, a fire in Little Rock. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office responded to a call on the 14,000 block of Lawrence Road. The fire is reported to be at B&T Pallets. Officials say there are no injuries right now. The Arch Street Fire Department responded to the call around 4:30 this afternoon. The fire is out, but crews are still on scene watching those hot spots in the wood pallets that caught fire. 20-year-old Brendan Johnson, the man shot by a Little Rock police officer last Saturday, wants to give his side of the story. His parents and attorney spoke on his behalf yesterday in a press conference. His attorney tells us Saturday night when officers were looking for another vehicle, they spotted the truck Johnson was in. When police asked the driver to get out of the truck, that's when Johnson got into the driver's side and attempted to drive away. Then LRPD officer John V. McEdlin shot at the truck, hitting Johnson in the face. The attorney says the bullet hit Brandon in the left side of his face and traveling across his eyes.
I think it's unfortunate and very awful what happened to my son, and I feel like he was not deserving.
Still trying to figure out what all disabilities that he's going to have behind this is what's kind of troubling to me.
Johnson is not out of the hospital yet, and the attorney says he faces a long recovery. We reached out for Little Rock police for a statement, but they declined. The attorney says a lawsuit could be filed for monetary damages for the family.
Now, we finally got a taste of that fall-like air across the state today, but now that the sun has set, we're already seeing temperatures drop off pretty quickly. We're down to 55 right now in Little Rock, and believe it or not, the average low for this time of year is 54 degrees. Pine Bluff already below that at 53. Clinton and Arkadelphia in the 40s down to 46 degrees. We're going to get even cooler as the night trucks on, looking to get into more of the lower to middle 40s overnight. I have a look at that whole forecast coming up and a look at how long we're going to see this nice fall-like pattern in a few more moments, so make sure you stick around.
All right, thanks, Simone. Well, through natural disasters and house fires, the American Red Cross is there to respond. Today, the organization spent the morning in Jacksonville working to prevent house fires as people may start to turn the heat up this fall. THV 11's Jalissa Garza gives us a closer look.
For several years, the Red Cross has worked to prevent house fires from happening.
It started in 2014, and we've been installing free smoke alarms in homes ever since then. We renamed the campaign Sound the Alarm a few years ago.
Saturday, the organization partnered with the Jacksonville NAACP and fire department to install smoke alarms in homes across the city.
Arkansas has a very high home fire rate. We respond to anywhere between 2 to 5 home fires every single day here in Arkansas.
You might think every house has a smoke alarm, but the fire department says sometimes they come across a few that don't.
I think that's a common problem because, no one expects to have a house fire. They just don't. But when it actually happens, it's devastating.
Wendell Ross's home is one of the many in the city that the Red Cross stopped at, and his 4 smoke alarms don't work.
You come in your house and none of your smoke detectors really are doing what they're supposed to. That's a scary idea, and you go to sleep up in here too.
Now he has new ones, and these will last for the next 10 years.
Feeling good. I got this big old Kool-Aid smile on my face.
Ross says he's thankful and will be able to sleep even better in his home now.
Especially when my grandkids over. When they over, I'm half asleep, trying to stay woke to make sure they're okay and everything's all right. So now when they come, I can close my door of my bedroom off.
In Jacksonville, Jalissa Garza, THV 11 News.
Red Cross tells us they gave away more than 120 smoke alarms and confirmed that every house has a fire evacuation plan. Tonight, at least 250 people have been killed in a surprise attack in Israel from the ruling Hamas militant group in the Gaza Strip. Hamas launched thousands of rockets, followed by a coordinated land and sea attack against Israeli towns near the Gaza Strip. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu declared war and retaliated. Israeli rockets took down a 14-story building believed to house Hamas officials. The attack against Israel has led to plenty of reaction here in the U.S. President Biden spoke about the attack earlier today. This while leading GOP presidential candidates addressed what happened while they were out on the campaign trail. Christian Benavidez reports.
Reaction from across the political spectrum following that deadly surprise attack overnight by Hamas against Israel. President Joe Biden, who met with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu just last month, said the two spoke this morning and reiterated U.S. commitment to Israel's security.
Israel has the right to defend itself and its people. Full stop.
Out on the campaign trail, former President Donald Trump, the leading GOP candidate, also addressed the attack.
The Israeli attack was made because we are perceived as being weak and ineffective and with a really weak leader.
Republicans have been critical of the Biden administration over a prisoner swap deal with Iran earlier this year, which lifted a freeze on $6 billion of Iranian funds. Iran's supreme leader congratulated Hamas fighters for launching this morning's attack.
Of course, Iran funds Hamas. The Biden administration's made that a lot easier.
Biden administration officials have said the suggestion that the U.S. provided funds to Iran is not true, that the funds available to Iran haven't been spent yet, and when that happens, they can only be used for food and medicine. Christian Benavidez, CBS News.
U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also condemned the attack, saying on social media that the U.S. stands, quote, in solidarity with the government and people of Israel. Meanwhile, Congress still working to decide who will be the next Speaker of the House. At least two members have announced their bids. In the running, current Majority Leader Steve Scalise, and yesterday, former President Trump endorsed Representative Jim Jordan of Ohio. However, former Congresswoman Liz Cheney says Jordan helped Trump strategize ahead of January 6th, while President Biden criticized Republican infighting that has brought the House to a standstill.
Jim Jordan was part of the conspiracy in which Donald Trump was engaged as he attempted to overturn the election.
It's time to stop fooling around. House Republicans, it's time for you to do your job.
House Republicans will meet behind closed doors next week, but some think the battle for Speaker could drag on for days or even weeks. Tonight, we're taking a look at election results, but not on any candidates. We're talking about the people and the equipment used to ensure the vote totals you see on election night are accurate. Pulaski County officials participated in a post-election audit conducted by the Arkansas State Board of Election Commissioners. The results of the voting machines are 100% accurate. For this audit, they took a look at the 2022 governor's race in Pulaski County by hand counting over 13,000 votes from selected polling locations, which was about 10.5% of total votes cast, and their hand count matched the voting machine's count. Election coordinator Amanda Dickens says she wants voters to feel comfortable and knowing that the machines are tested before every single election to ensure their accuracy.
And then after the election, we'll probably get chosen by the state to do an audit, and then they'll come in and pick certain locations and audit those ballots. And our Board of Election Commissioners has also been talking about doing a pre-certification audit where they select a few locations and hand count the ballots there to make sure it matches up with what the machine tabulated.
Dickens says she's also not surprised with the results of the audit because they've been working with these machines for years now and they've proven to be accurate.